All right, here is question number one. I did an example that is very similar to your question. This time, we're going to be working with numbers that are small numbers. And when I mean small numbers, our numbers start with 0 point. Every time you see 0 point something, we are working with small numbers. And what we want to do with this small number, okay, what we want to do is we want to write in scientific notation. Remember from previous week, a number in scientific notation is just another way of writing a number. We just need to fill out this template. The big number, I need to put a number between 1 and 10, and the exponent is of the 10 will be how many times you move the decimal point. In our case here, we have a small number. So this number is not between 1 and 10. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to move the decimal point this time to the right until I get a number between 1 and 10. So if I put the decimal point here, between the 3 and the 1, I'm going to get 3.14. And then I'm going to count the little arcs, how many times I move the decimal point to the right, and I count 6. But when the number is a small number, we use or we write a negative exponent. Okay? Negative exponents, small number. Positive exponents, big number. And that's how you do problem number one. Okay, for question number two, they gave us a number in scientific notation. They're asking us to write it in standard form. That's what standard form, you can see it here. Basically, standard form means write it like a regular number. Every time you see an exponent that is negative, like you can see here right now, the -3 is the exponent here is a negative number. That means we are working with a small number. That's what that means. And what does that mean? That is a small number. That my number is going to start with 0 point something. So how do you make a number scientific notation into a standard form? If the exponent is negative, it means we're going to move it to the left 3 times. In this case, it says -3. So here's the decimal point now. Before the decimal point, I'm going to put a 0. And then I have these empty spaces or pockets. I'm going to put 2 zeros there because I have 2 pockets that are empty. So my new number is going to be 0.00209. Again, when you see a negative exponent, it's a small number. When I say small number, your final answer is going to start with 0 point something. The exponent is negative. It means we're going to move the decimal point to the left. That's how we make the number smaller. And this problem or this example is very similar to the one you have in question number two. So question number three, same idea. They gave us a number in standard form. Again, you can see here that this number starts with 0 point something. Okay, what does that mean when you start with 0 point something? That we're working with a small number. And what I want to do, I want to write this number in scientific notation. Every time you work with a small number, move the decimal point to the right as many times until you get a number between 1 and 10, because that's the number you were going to write in the big box. So here I'm going to write 7.89. You can see that the beginning zeros, I do not write it. And then I'm going to count how many times I move the decimal point to the right. I move it 3 times, but when I write the exponent for the 10, it's going to be -3. Negative exponent means that we're working with a small number. Positive exponent, we're working with a big number. And that's how you do problem number 3. I'm not going to do number 4 because it's basically the same idea as I did in number 3. Let me bring me the board. Okay, you're going to make a number in standard form. You want to write it in scientific notation. This is a small number because you started with 0 point something. You're going to move the decimal point to the right until you get a number between 1 and 10. And then you just count how many times you move the decimal point to the right. That will be the exponent of the 10. But remember, Because this is a small number, you have to write a negative exponent. So I'm not going to do number 4 because it's basically the same as number 3. In problem number 6, they ask us to make a number in scientific notation to convert it into standard form, which basically means write it like a regular number. If you look at the exponent of the 10, it's a negative exponent. What does the negative exponent mean? That we are working with a small number, okay? And how do we make 4.56 smaller than what it is? We're gonna move the decimal point, in this case, 8 times, but to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to put the decimal point here. All of these empty pockets, I'm going to put zeros. So let me put the zeros there. These zeros are in the pocket, okay? And then before the decimal point, I'm going to write a 0 too. So final answer is going to look like this: 0.123 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me make sure I count it right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 zeros, then a 4, the 5, and the 6. Okay, and you can see I made a small number because my small numbers start with 0 point. And that's how you do problem number 6. And the same thing you're gonna do in problem number 7. Okay, same idea. All right. And the same thing you're gonna do in problem number 8. That's how you do this lesson. I hope this helps.